I don't know if you noticed, but this has been one of the craziest weeks for Claude releases in as long as I can remember, right? And it all has to do with a couple features that they absolutely released as a way to just kill all that stuff about OpenClaw. So that's exactly what they did. They released a couple features, specifically Claude Cowork Dispatch, what we're going to talk about today. But also, you can now connect Telegram and Discord to Claude Code as well, and this is basically replacing the, really good selling point that OpenClaw had when it came to being able to communicate with your agent through different gateways like Telegram or Discord or text message, right? So that's exactly what Anthropic did with these new releases. I thought I was going to be, it's only been a couple days, like 1 or 2 days since Dispatch has been released for Cowork. I thought I was going to be on this fast recording a video, but they just shipped this stuff at an incredible pace that I can't even keep up with. Nobody can really keep up with. So, today we're going to focus on Claude Cowork Dispatch, though, specifically for my non-developer audience who want to, communicate with their co-working agent through their phone without having to set up, some infrastructure specifically for like Claude Code for Telegram or Discord. So if you take a look, first thing we need to do is get into the app here on our desktop. And now when you click Cowork, you should, if you make sure to update, you should already be updated. On the left side now, you have a dispatch tab, all right? And basically, I explained it, but what Dispatch does is allow you to pick up a conversation or communicate with your Cowork agent through your phone, through the app on your phone, meaning you're talking through your phone, but your Cowork agent has access to your entire computer system, right? It has access to your folders, everything that you would work on with the computer. So now it's just like anything you would work on when you're at your desk, at your computer. If you're now away on the app, you can fire up your agent to do that, right? So here on the Dispatch tab, you could see we got dispatch tasks to Claude and check in from your phone or computer, all in one seamless conversation. We have a little intro here of what it can do, and we have a couple tabs here that are important. We have keep awake, which will prevent your computer going to sleep, right? So if your computer goes to sleep and you try to use dispatch from your phone, it's not going to work. So we want to make sure that's turned on. And we can also allow all browser actions, which I don't know if this is a bug I run into, but sometimes it doesn't work for me. You can see I'm clicking here and it's not working. But once I fire up the session, it will turn on. So just keep an eye on that and make sure that that is turned on as well. And then this is it. This is what the dispatch looks like on your computer, but this is also what you can see on your phone. So on your phone, you need to make sure that you're signed in to the same account that you're signed in on your computer for this to work. And also the first time you do this, it's going to ask for you to pair your device with your computer. So the first time you need to be at your desk and pair it, right? And then another just important point I'll say is this is just for like regular Claude plans right now, Pro plans, Max plans. It's not available on Team or Enterprise, but I'm sure it will be here soon. So if you see my phone here, if you take a look at my phone, you can see that this is the same screen that you're seeing on my computer, right? So it's the same session here. Now, as of right now, Dispatch can only run one continuous session. I don't really know how this is working in the back. Sometimes it fires up multiple, but the thing you just have to know is this is really just one session. We're not going to be able to split it up into different projects and have all that, which I'm sure is coming. But right now, just think of it as one co-working session on your phone. All right. So I'm going to work right here. You could see I'm going to work on the computer first. And a couple things I learned playing with this for the last day or two that I haven't seen too many people, talking about is you should always start, like the first session, you should really start on your computer, because I found it way better to load up everything you wanted to know right away and then continue it from your phone. So the first thing I want to do is go and find the folder that I really, work out of inside of Claude Cowork, which is Proxy here, which is just the name of like my agent that I use for co-working in Claude Code. It's basically my personal agent, everything to do with my content, my writing. It has, all my newsletters, my YouTube, everything, right? So I'm going to copy that path here, right, as the path name. Here in Obsidian, which I use to look at all the markdown files, you could see what's inside of that folder, right? We have the Claude.md. I have things like here, I have my YouTube transcripts. I have YouTube titles, descriptions. I also have all of my Substack newsletters here, right? So this is just my, entire content workspace for my personal Alex McFarland brand, right? So we're going to make sure we copy the path to that, and we're going to go back to Claude. And what I like to do right off the bat is say, hey, we are going to be working out of this folder. I want you to assume this identity and just get familiar with the workspace because this is what we're going to be working out of, right? And then I'm just going to paste, let me move myself here. I'm going to paste my folder here and then hit send. And we want to do this on the computer really, right? So that we could copy the path. We can make sure it gets all set up. Dispatch is a little bit, not so transparent in how it works completely, right? You don't have like a normal Claude.md file, but I found that if you just use your regular folder that you already have set up for, Claude Cowork or Claude Code that has a Claude.md, that has all this, it's going to understand it, right? Because it's just built on the same thing. So now you can see here, it fired up this dispatch on the left bar here, and it is labeled as dispatch. And you could see that it just looks like a regular co-workspace now, and it's doing the same thing. So here you could see it is going to load the tools to understand the entire folder and what's in my workspace that I told it to understand before it comes back to me, right? Now, you don't really want to, stay inside of here too much. We want to make sure we're here over on the dispatch because we're going to get permissions like this. And I'm going to show you my phone again. And I'm getting the same permissions on my phone, the same conversation, right? So now it's asking for access, and I'm going to allow it for my phone. It's going to ask for access into the folder to explore what is going on in here. And this is really the only thing you need to set up on your computer that I recommend before you start with the phone. And then the other super important thing as this is running and getting familiar with the folder, you want to make sure that any connections that you have, any connectors here, so we're going to go to customize, right? We're going to go to connectors. Any connectors that you have here, you want to make sure they're already connected, installed, enabled, and set up before you start the dispatch session, right? Because if you add on any of them later as the session's going on, it's not going to be able to pick them up, right? So you could see, for example, I have Airtable already connected. That's where I run my databases of all my different content stuff. And I also have a custom connector that I built myself for YouTube API here that can grab all of my YouTube analytics, right? So I really have those two. And then the third one is the Claude and Chrome desktop extension, which you really want also installed so that from your phone, you can tell Claude to fire up a Chrome browser on your computer and it can do work like that, which we'll talk about. Same situation with skills. Make sure your skills are loaded up here. This is a fresh account here that I created just to show you dispatch because normally I run on a team plan, which doesn't have it. So I don't have all my skills in here, but you could see for this, I installed a Substack notes long form skill. We have a couple of skills installed in here. So you want to make sure that that is all set up before getting started here, right? Now I'm going to keep working from the computer, but as you know, right, everything that I'm seeing here on my screen is also showing up on my phone and vice versa, but we're going to read from here so it's easier to see, right? So it explored my folder. It now understands what we are working with here. It says this workspace is proxy, my operational AI agent workspace. We got Claude.md at the root, which is its identity file, right? We have the main working areas, which is my co-writer system, which is my core product with different training tracks. We have Substack, we have YouTube, we have email sequences, etc., and a bunch of other context in there, right? So now it understands everything. So now I can start working from my phone, and it already knows that we're kind of operating in this folder, because if you don't do that, it's really just operating from your entire home directory on your computer. It doesn't really know where it goes. It's going to get confused. It's going to get mixed up. So you want to establish that right off the bat so that it knows what we're working in here. Now, we could do some really cool things here. I want to show you how I've been using it, and I'm going to walk you through the exact workflow that I followed the other day, right? So like 2 days ago, I was working on my computer. This was the same day that Dispatch came out, and I had to go to a function here nearby, and I left my computer in the middle of the day, but I still had some stuff to do. So in the car, I had already set up exactly what I showed you here, and then in the car, in the Uber on my way, I was working, and I was doing stuff like this. So I'm going to use voice dictation on my phone right now so you could see, right? I was doing, for example, right here. I want you to take a look at my most recent YouTube video and transcript, and then fire up your Substack notes skills because I want 5 Substack notes based off that video. After you have those notes, please go drop them in our Airtable and mark them with the correct, properties. So now I just want Substack notes off of my latest video. I'm going to send it. I'm going to click send, and you're going to see it shows up here as well. So we told it to take a look at my most recent YouTube video and create some Substack notes and post them in my Airtable database. So the first thing it's going to ask is for permission to work inside this folder. We're going to allow it. All right. And as it's doing this, I want you to see here, I'm going to navigate over here. This is an Airtable. I have a empty table here of Substack notes, nothing in here. So now we're going to see Dispatch populated with 5 Substack notes, right? So it's going to read the latest transcript. It's going to run it through my skill for 5 notes and then drop them in there and then report back to us. So now I can shut off my phone, right? I could continue on my car ride waiting for it to notify me that it's done. And that's exactly what happened. So then I'm going to show you what that looks like. Oh, and as it's doing it, I wanted to mention again, you could see here, I don't really know what's going on necessarily with Dispatch launching up these separate things here because, like I said, we don't have much documentation on this, but it looks like every time it has a task, it launches up a new, workspace. So you could see here that we have 2 here, and this is the active one right now where it's actually working. We could see like the regular co-working space. It's reading the Substack notes skill, it's writing them, it's putting it into Airtable. We could see that all here. So, on your computer, you could keep track of this, but just always remember it's one continuous session going on here in Dispatch. All right, so after a couple minutes, I'm in the car, it's running, and now it's done. And I get back here, it's updated. It says all 5 notes are live in your Airtable Substack notes table. And really quick, for anybody who doesn't know what Substack notes are, it's just like the social media of Substack, right? It's like, tweets or whatever, or social posts. So all 5 are live in your Airtable Substack notes table, marked as draft long form. We have CTA set. It gives me a little breakdown of what it did. And now let's go take a look at our Airtable to see if it's actually in there. You saw before it was empty. And now, boom, we have 5 Substack notes sitting in my Airtable, ready as drafts for review whenever I get back, or I can just post straight from my phone, whatever, right? Because, they're all here. So I can review each one. And like I said, if I wanted to post right from my phone, I might just tell it like, maybe I don't want to go into my Airtable. I'll say, oh, that looks great. Can you send these over to me in a markdown file? Because I'm in the car and I want to post directly from my phone. And we can literally tell it that. And it should attach a markdown file right here with the exact notes so I don't have to deal with databases. So it's just going to depend on, whatever it is that you're working on or, how you like to work. All right, so we ran into a quick speed bump here. As you can tell, it's not perfect, but we got the markdown file, which we asked for, but I had to give it a little question mark. So I was sitting here waiting. It said, here you go, full text, copy, paste, nothing. I just simply asked it, can you please just attach the actual .md file? And then here we go. Here you go, all 5 full Substack notes ready to post. And if you look on my phone, it gave me the markdown right here that I can click. And then we have the actual social posts right here. So I could just copy and paste it right on Substack, right? So it's literally like having, your agent. I mean, it's not like it is having your agent or assistant run 24/7, even when you're in the car on your way somewhere else, right? So that's exactly workflow I used yesterday or the day before when I was on my way somewhere and wanted to just post some social media posts. But we could take this even further and do even cooler stuff now, which I'm going to show you right now. So the second powerful thing it can do, besides like your usual connections to like Claude skills and your regular connectors, whether that be Airtable like I'm using or Notion or anything like that, is the Google Chrome browser. So the Chrome extension is great for things that don't have traditional connections or MCP servers. And for me personally, somebody who works in content and writing and specifically in newsletters and Substack, one of the biggest, problems or pain points I always had was keeping my Substack analytics up to date here in my Airtable because specifically because Substack does not have an API and it does not have an API and there's no easy way of grabbing all of your stuff from there, besides just going straight on the dashboard and grabbing it. So this is what we're going to ask our Cowork to do right now. So to do this now, you want to make sure you have your Chrome extension enabled on the same account on Chrome that you are logged into on the app, right? And you can see this is what the Substack dashboard looks like. We have the full overview of our revenue, our subscribers, total subscribers. We can also go to our posts here. And this is really where we have to grab the the analytics. There's really no other way, right? So if you look here, we can see the analytics, we can see open rates, everything like that. So something I want to try out is on my Airtable, a lot of the open rates are incorrect because I just set this Airtable up today and I used the export of Substack for the open rates and it was completely wrong. So let's say I want to fix my Airtable with the open rates, right? So we're gonna come back over here and we're gonna tell our dispatch here. We're gonna say, I want you to use your Chrome extension to go into my Substack dashboard, and I need you to update the open rates on my Airtable because they're all wrong. So I want you to go into the dashboard, look at the open rates for the last, let's say, 10 posts, and update my Airtable. And now it should be able to launch the Chrome by itself, navigate to the dashboard because it's the only way because there's no API, and do this all autonomously. All right, so our agent here told us it's going to jump to our dashboard via Chrome, pull open the last 10 posts and sync them to Airtable. Now we can see now, if we go back to our Chrome, we can see now we have a Claude Chrome tab being opened up, and this is Claude itself controlling the Cowork agent controlling the Substack dashboard itself. So let's see, it should navigate to our posts, look at the last 10 open rates, and then go update our Airtable. So it has all these connections, right? So it has the actual Airtable connector, which you saw before, where it could get right into, the database, but now it also has the Chrome extension to be able to do all of this. All the while, I'm in my Uber on the way to my function, and it's doing all this on my computer at home, right? So we're gonna see how well it can handle this now, right? So it already is navigating by itself to the emails here. It's going to look at each one and update our Airtable. And if we go back to Cowork, we can't really see anything here, right? And this is what we'd be seeing on our phone in Dispatch. But let's say, you also have your computer and you want to look into it. Like I said, we could come over here and see these sessions that it has open and what it's doing, right? That's good for later on. If if something went wrong and you get back home and you want to debug and see what happened, you can look and see exactly what Dispatch was doing, even though it wasn't showing you on the phone. And you can learn a lot from that. But also, if you have your computer with you and need to fix something really quick, you can jump on here, right? So we can see everything it's doing. It's in my dashboard. It sees my stats page. It's taking screenshots. And it's figuring this all out itself. It's probably going to take a while because the Chrome extension takes a while, but we'll come back and see if it manages to put those into our Airtable. All right, and as this analytics update is still running, I just want to show you another quick thing that just popped up that I remember. So here on your desktop, if you're looking at Dispatch here, I'm confirming that it also doesn't show on your phone. No, just on your desktop. So if you're looking at your desktop here, you can also see that we now have outputs here. So we can see everything that is actually being saved in output, like these MD files. So that original Substack notes that it gave us here, we can download these as well. So you'll also be able to track all of your different updates here as well. All right. So this is still running. Let's check and see what it's doing over here. All right, it is grabbing everything. It found everything. It already grabbed the analytics, and now it's dropping into Airtable. So everything looks like it's working perfectly, and we're just going to let it finish up here. All right, and after another minute or two, you can see that it's done. It has 8 records updated in your Substack newsletters table. Here's what got corrected. It shows me everything it did. Then it tells me two of the last 10 weren't available. It even finds some gaps here for me to fix, and then also flagged that the old values in Airtable were way off. Some were showing 67%, all corrected. Now let's navigate over to our Airtable, and as you can see, you probably can't tell, but each one of these now is completely updated with the correct open rates that it grabbed from the dashboard. So just like incredible efficiency. I'm like really impressed with how fast it actually works. Even, it's not the fastest thing, but like I said, everything you just watched, I did that same thing in my Uber on the way to an event, right? And it works very smoothly. I could do the same thing now with YouTube, right? I have a custom YouTube connector here connected to my API. I could tell it here. Let's try one more thing. Let's tell it. I could do this all day. I could tell it. Use your YouTube connector to pull my latest video. Let me know how it's performing. And also just pull down the thumbnail because I want to, I want to see the thumbnail. So I'm getting it to do all these different things. It's going to pull down my analytics now. It's going to pull down my thumbnail just to show you it can really do a lot of different stuff here. So as this is running, it's the same situation here. But the main thing is this is a 24/7 employee agent that you can have working for you. You follow me for a while now. You know I'm all about running a business solopreneur. I run all my successful content businesses and client work by myself. I only use AI, and this is like the peak of that. I would say when it comes to Claude Cowork, because I could be on my phone, I could be messaging it. It knows exactly what we're working on, exactly what we're doing, has access to my files. It can pull in my analytics. Here it's going to pull in YouTube. It can pull in my analytics. It can get me updated all the time, right? No matter where I am. I like to travel a lot. So you better believe I'm going to be leaving this thing running 24/7 when I'm on trips and stuff, talking over the phone if I need to. So you should definitely do this if you are a professional who is serious about, productivity and using agents to just better your business all around. All right, so just to close this out, that YouTube finished up, we could see I could pull my latest video stats. We got, you need a private Claude plugin marketplace, 773 views, absolutely flopped, by the way. So if you haven't watched that, I think you really should. I think it's one of the most important videos I did, and it got the least amount of traffic. So whoever is watching that, you're way ahead, because it totally flopped compared to my other videos, but like one of the most important ones. So make sure to check that out, the last video I posted on creating a private plugin marketplace if you're trying to do this, for clients or create a career out of, developing these AI systems. But anyways, pulled it up here, and also told us that it couldn't give me the thumbnail because it's blocked from the sandbox. So that's something we would have to work around. Can't really pull the thumbnail, but whatever. Most of what we're going to be doing is number based anyways here. So I hope you found this useful. Drop a comment below if you're using this, what you're using it for. My workflows are involved with writing and content creation and ghostwriting and this type of stuff. But this is applicable to anybody in any different industry. So drop a comment below. Make sure to subscribe to my Substack if you want to get, more content like this and all the different things that I'm releasing that you can actually use to build these systems.